Hi, and welcome to Amy's Opinions. Today is Father's Day, and we are going to be talking about the dads in our life. I have my daughter Maggie, I have my son Lewis, his best friend Oscar, and I have my daughter Alicia on speakerphone. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Alicia, can you say hi? Alicia.
Sorry, your voice is like coming in and out.
All right, Lewis.
Yeah.
All right, so Father's Day. As you guys know, my dad has passed away. Grandpa was a big part of our life. He was one of my heroes. He was a Vietnam vet. He was a postal worker. He was a postmaster. And he was a very strong part of my life. So a lot of times you'll tell people Happy Father's Day, grown men, and they'll say, well, I'm not a dad. Or they're not married. They don't have children yet. They can't have children. They choose not to have children. But my response when people tell me that is, you may not be a father by blood, but you may be a father figure to someone where you guide them. For me, a father is someone who's a protector, someone who's a mentor, and someone who loves you. It doesn't have to be blood. I was fortunate to have a couple different father figures and a really great dad. The first memories of my dad I remember was him rubbing my forehead when I wasn't feeling good or rocking me. I remember on my 5th birthday almost getting arrested twice because Grandpa was showing us the caboose, and then he decided to show us the abandoned train station, and we broke into it, and yeah, we got chased off a couple of times. I remember going fishing with my dad, and my dad catching a duck that fell over a waterfall, and he, threw out his line, and here reeled in a duck.
Did you get duck for dinner?
No, Grandma and Grandpa set it free. I remember my dad teaching me how to fix my car with duct tape to hold the hood down. Not sure Grandpa was very mechanically savvy, but I remember that. I remember my dad doing things like, telling every one of his daughters that they made his favorite food the best, which was pasties or chocolate chip cookies. And I remember watching Shark with Grandpa. I remember those things, but what I remember most was the advice and the love that my dad gave me. Those are just brief memories. Grandpa wasn't a disciplinarian. He left that more for grandma unless it really counted.
Like parked cars?
Park cars, wearing our snowsuits and sliding down the stairs head first, that sort of thing. It's the only time I really saw grandpa get mad. Otherwise, he was there to kind of make sure, one, we were safe. Never felt unsafe anywhere going with grandpa. And two, we had fun with him. So, as this is Father's Day, I've talked about my dad for the last few minutes. We're going to start with Alicia since she's on the phone and she can't log in. So she can kind of say what has made a difference in her life with her dad. Alicia, I'm going to hold the phone up to the microphone so we can record this. What has made a difference in your life with Daddy?
Well, the driving lesson. I understood his better than yours. That made a huge difference.
Okay. Any fond memories that you have of your dad so far that stick?
Kindergarten. There was some sort of event going on. I don't remember because I was 5. Exactly what it was for. I think it was around Christmas time. And Dad showed up for it. I think it was bring your dad or bring your dad into class today to do an assignment or something. And we made reindeer cutouts.
Okay. Oscar, what about you and your dad?
My dad, he's really great. He did a lot for me and my siblings growing up. Both my parents worked, so it was being home alone during the day. But what I remember him is that he's real headstrong, very strategic. He was friendly with everyone, and he was generous in ways that isn't obvious. Kind of as a kid, you didn't really think about it growing up. As an adult, you see it through a different perspective. And looking back on what my dad did growing up, he was a very generous man, or he is still with us today.
Okay, Lewis, what about your dad?
He is very handy and full of a lot of useful knowledge that if I need, I can always ask and receive. So, helps out.
Okay, so Oscar, I didn't ask you, what's one of your favorite memories of your dad?
One of my favorite memories is probably when he showed us how to sand sled. I grew up in the desert, so snow is very, very uncommon. And when we did get snow, it would probably be an inch and probably melt away a couple hours later. He growing up, he would ride out to the sand dunes on quads and a little razor buggy, and he brought sleds one time. Now looked at him weird when he was grabbing the mat. He pulled out sleds, and he was like, "No, just put it on the sled," and he pushes down that big old hill. And it was the funnest day I had in the desert, getting dirty like that. And when we come home, he would just air hose us off with the air compressor, and that was a pretty fun game.
Nice. Lewis, what's your favorite memory of Dad so far?
I do not know.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Maggie. What is it about your dad that stands out to you?
The fact that he's willing to do things even though he might not feel good enough to do it or that he might not want to. You know, taking me to Buc-ee's instead of going the quicker way home from my college.
Okay, and what's one of your favorite memories of Dad?
When Helene hit, he was willing to come up and get me, even though it meant that he had to spend the night in his truck because the road got closed when we were trying to leave.
Okay. Lewis, have you thought of a good memory yet?
No.
So, this is Father's Day, and I just want to talk about some of the things that I think are important for dads and for kids to have from dads. Lewis, anytime your dad deployed, you would go around and you were the man of the house and you would try to fix everything to
Mhm.
make sure your sisters were doing what they were supposed to be doing. Yeah. But Alicia, you were the type of kid, anytime dad deployed, you would go out of control because you were such a daddy's girl.
Only when I was 2.
No, not even when you were 2. Dad would take care of you guys when you guys would throw up, because I'm a sympathetic puker. And if you guys threw up and I had to clean it up, I would sit there and puke. So anytime you guys had the stomach flu, your dad took care of you. You know, I remember coming home, we had that ice storm, and your dad had taken you guys in Yelm out, like Oscar said, sledding's a big thing, and he had Pam the underside of your sleds and let you guys go down that big snowbank. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I do.
I remember that. He said that we weren't allowed to go back behind it because there's a frozen pond.
Now,
Yeah.
as far as father figures, Oscar, my kids' dads were deployed. Your dad taught Lewis, albeit he hit him with his car, but he taught Lewis how to go in a stick shift when Lewis was learning how to drive.
Yeah.
So, Lewis, would you consider Joe as a father figure for you?
A little bit.
Okay, because, you know, let's face it, he was a big part of your life.
After hitting me with the car.
He did. And, you know, he also came when we had some stress with Maggie, and he came and helped you guys out and made sure Maggie was safe when your dad was deployed until I could get to you guys, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Joe and Victoria, you know, Oscar's parents picked up your sisters from school and brought them home so they didn't have to walk the pedophile mile when we lived with them. You know, so there are other parental figures in your life. I would say your grandfather was a father figure in your life because he came quite a bit when your dad was deployed, except for Lewis when he got you a haircut just like his, and you wanted him to put your hair back on. But I would say Grandpa was a big father figure in your life,
Yeah.
correct?
He
Yeah.
taught us how corn on the cob was manly.
Right? He had fun with you guys. He protected you guys. So, you know, Father's Day is about the grandfathers. It's about the uncles. It's about the mentors. It's about the family friends. It's about any male to me who has an impact in your life, who mentors you, helps shape you into adulthood. You know, it's not just about biology. Lewis, have you thought of any good memory of dad that you want to share?
Probably
playing
when
Halo?
he took me to the range for the first time and it was freezing cold.
Was that in Yelm when he took you to the range for the first time? And how did you feel about that?
I was excited.
Okay. That's it. That's all you're going to say. Just excited.
Oh, well, I mean, I did say I was freezing cold, but you know.
Okay. What other things do you guys remember about dad? Or that you want to say to your dad? Alicia, do you want to say anything to dad?
I love you, Dad. Thank you for putting the poop on my bowl because I know I have lots of it.
Thanks for not killing us.
For being an amazing chef.
Dang, the next time you go, because you never took me when I was little because you said I was too little, but I think I'm big enough now.
Lewis, what do you want to say to your dad?
Keep up with the fun projects.
The fun projects that you told dad you would help him with, but you're too busy doing homework?
Look, I gotta be responsible here.
Oscar, Lewis came out and said, hey, if you guys want to screen your porch, I'm off this week and I will help you. Lewis, have you helped screen in the porch yet?
I have.
What
I
did
helped
what
with
if
the measurements.
They're not writing about Lewis. Keep writing about it. I love the drama.
Oscar, what do you want to say to your dad?
Thank you very much. Your hard work definitely paid off, and it's noticed and it's appreciated.
Magnolia?
Thank you for helping me learn how to drive and, picking me up when I needed it and letting me keep Mikey. I appreciate that and love that.
Now, Alicia, what do you think is important for a new dad or a father to act like or to do with children? Well, you were a child with a father, so what would you expect your future husband to be like with your children?
The figure for starters.
What's a father figure to you?
Explain it. It's just your dad is a father figure.
I think I could
Dad's a
explain
father
it.
figure.
Okay, Maggie wants to take a shot at it. Let's let Maggie take a shot at it. Maggie, what do you expect your future husband to be like towards your children?
Kind of like how dad is ready to drop things when their kids need them, mentoring them and guiding them through difficult stuff, but then also, being able to have fun with them while still maintaining a certain level of strictness because, a parent's supposed to be your parent, not your friend, especially when you're younger, not letting them get away with a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. You got my sisters.
What do you see? What qualities do you see that you've seen with your dad or that you've seen with other people that you feel like you need to bring into to become a good dad?
Throwing the baby first day home up into the ceiling.
Lewis, your dad almost didn't hold you forever after he did that. And he didn't throw you. He just lifted you up and tapped your head on the ceiling. And he didn't know better because he never been around an infant.
Mhm.
Okay, seriously though, what qualities, Lewis and Oscar, since you guys are going to be dads hopefully someday, are father figures to someone, do you feel from your experiences growing up you need to bring into the next generation?
I think more honesty and more open about how life is gonna hit you and mess you up.
Lewis?
I think that's something you would need as a kid to understand why you're being disciplined into something you're being disciplined for.
Okay, so you think that if you discipline your children, they need to know why they're being disciplined.
Yeah, if you're gonna discipline your kid, tell them why. Tell them the vision you're trying to build them into.
Okay, Lewis, what do you think?
To install a good work ethic.
Okay.
Instill.
No, instill, honey. Instill is something different. Alicia, do you agree that your father's instilled a good work ethic into you guys?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat?
Do you agree that your dad has instilled a good work ethic into you guys?
I don't like it. I wouldn't have this need or drive to have a job if it wasn't for him. Because I just have to work. I have to have a job. I have to do something.
Fair enough.
I definitely probably wouldn't have gotten my associate's degree at the same time as my high school diploma had did not helped to instill a work ethic.
Not install, Lewis. Instill.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do both.
You see that's installing. Just saying.
We're
So what do
almost
you
to the
guys-
stage we can have cybernetics do it.
Lewis, what else do you feel that as future parents or future dads, you expect to act like as a dad?
I mean, I already got the jokes down.
Okay, so you feel dad jokes and humor are good?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about, do you guys plan on wearing black socks with sandals?
Not with sandals, probably, maybe, but definitely black socks.
I don't know.
Okay,
I think
Oscar, I'm sorry. Alicia interrupted you. Do you want to repeat that?
Yeah, definitely the black socks, depending how nice the sandals are, maybe with the sandals.
I don't know.
Do you
Oscar.
feel it's a father's responsibility to embarrass his children from time to time?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Doing dumb stuff.
You have to keep your kids humble. You gotta keep them humble.
Okay. Do you feel that the most important part of being a good parent or good dad is to be present in your children's life?
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
hope so.
What about, those dads who are deployed? How can they stay present in their lives, in their children's lives?
Letters and
Letters, phone calls.
emails, even if they can.
Okay. What about parents who or kids who have come from a split home?
Both
can
parents
still
being involved.
Twice the amount of presents.
you can still be active and present in your kid's life, even through the other parents. You know, whatever differences and conflicts you had with the other parent, you should be able to be mature enough to get over that, at least in front of the kids, so the kids understand that my parents are still my parents. They created me out of love. I am a creation from an act of love and passion, and they have enough of that still for to have that loving and very neutral environment that'll help nurture me and grow.
Okay. So we're going to close this podcast down because, again, it's Father's Day, so I hope everyone's enjoying their time with their dads. Any last words? Alicia, do you have any last words you want to say to Dad? Alicia.
Can you repeat that, Mom? I'm like having really bad signal issues right now.
Do you have any last thing you want to say to Dad before we end this podcast? All right. Oscar, what do you want to say to your dad? Any last words?
Keep doing the hard work. You're a grandpa now. You got to keep going.
Lewis?
I don't know.
Thanks for being a good dad. Love you.
Okay, Lewis, your last shot. What do you want to tell Dad for Father's Day?
Happy Father's Day and have fun.
All right. Thank you for joining Amy's opinions on this Father's Day one with these kids who kind of understand what they want to say to their dads, kind of have an idea what they want to be when they become dads or what they want their spouses to be. And to all the dads out there and all the father figures and mentors out there, thank you and have a good Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.